Hey, what is good guys, Chris here, welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking about a lens that I want to buy. It's not a new lens, it's an old lens actually, not very old, but something that I wanted to have and I just realized that I'm missing in my setup, especially for shooting these kind of videos and maybe street photography and other things. Now, you know me and you know that I love small lenses, pancakes, lenses that can fit in your pocket and lenses that can save some weight when it comes to, traveling and shooting street photography or hiking or stuff like that. That's why I'm owning this beautiful 35mm f1.6 as well as this 27mm f2.8. So if you can tell, these lenses are pretty much the same height. They're not very big and they're not heavy at all. They're actually small that you can fit in a pocket. So consequently, the next lens that I want to buy, it's the 16mm f2.8. Now, we all know that Fujifilm released the 60mm f1.4 a couple of years ago, or maybe more than that, I think 3-4 years ago. Also, they came up with the 18mm f1.4, which are definitely brighter, definitely more light letting in. But those lenses are pretty much like this one. And this is a pretty hefty lens. This is the 16mm. Oh, wait. This is the 16 to 55 f2.8. So why would I buy the 16mm f2.8 if I already have one? Let me tell you about it. Okay, so like I said, I decided to go and buy the 16mm f2.8, and I asked you to put your comments in the box down below and let me know if you have the lens, how it performs, how much do you use the lens, how much that lens matters to you and your setup. And to my aid, I came up with this decision because I'm usually shooting my videos on the 23mm f1.4, which gives me a little bit of a distance from the camera. It's probably an arm length, something like that. So yeah, probably an arm and a palm length from the camera right now. And I want to have something more interactive, like be closer to you guys. Plus, I heard only good things about the 60mm f2.8, and I want to test it. I want to see if it's for myself. Now, it's not a very wide aperture, which means the background behind me, it's not going to be that blurry. It's not going to have the tone or the bokeh that other lenses do, like the 23mm f1.4 that I'm shooting all these videos on. But it's definitely a lens that will bring me closer to the camera, so I can do adjustments if I want to. Also, it's a lens that is very small, the 23mm f1.4. It's not a huge lens, but it's not a small lens per se. It's a lens, let's say, in between. It does have all the, let's say, perks that a good lens should have, and I'm pretty happy with the quality that comes out of it. But again, I want a wider focal length. I'm also shooting weddings, as you can probably know if you are a subscriber to the channel. If you are not, please go ahead and subscribe. We're gonna have a giveaway soon at 1,000 subscribers, and I'm hoping for you guys to be here because that will be probably a part of the, entering the giveaway. So, yeah. If you know me, I'm a wedding photographer. I'm also a street photographer. 24mm, it's not my, let's say, focal length of choice. I shoot in the past with the 24mm on the full frame, and I wasn't very happy with it. But in terms of wide images, in terms of involving and getting more in the frame with that lens, I think it does very well. And the 18mm f2, it's pretty much around the 27, which for me is a great focal length for street photography. It does have the depth of field. It's a bit wider than the 16 f2.8 in terms of aperture, but it's not that wide in terms of focal length. So that's why I decided to go with the 16 f 2.8. Now this lens performs well in video from what I've heard. It does have a pretty quiet autofocus motor. You won't hear all that cracking and screeching all the time when the autofocus moves from a shorter distance to a longer distance. So I'm hoping that that will perform everything that I want to. And I want to mention that to you guys because I know that most of you are Fujifilm shooters, which is a great thing. So, like I said, I want to mention a few things about a new lens that Fujifilm is about to release other than the 18 f1.4 that they already did last week. It's gonna be a lens nobody knows exactly. It's definitely a very fast prime, so probably on a 1.4, but nobody knows if it's gonna be a 33mm f1.4 because the 35mm f1.4, which is actually an OG lens, part of the 3 OG lenses that Fujifilm released, the 16mm f2.4 macro, the 18mm f2, and the 35 1.4. These are the OG lenses, and that lens is becoming a bit older. It's a bit slow in terms of autofocus. He has that old autofocus more that cranks and screeches all the time, and it's not a fast lens per se. So they might come up with a 33mm f1.4. That's everybody says it's the most expected lens from Fujifilm. Now, you know me, I have the Viltrox 33mm f1.4 that we've talked about. I'm gonna put a video right here if you want to watch it. That's a great lens. It's a fast autofocus lens. It has a beautiful bokeh rendition and also tonal rendition when I'm shooting videos with it, because I did a few. And I think that the 33 1.4 will be a great addition to the Fujifilm, let's say, native lineup. The other one that everybody is thinking of is a 50mm f1.4, which it might be a little bit weird. They already have the 50mm f2, which in my opinion is a great lens in terms of sharpness. I don't have the lens, I shoot with it, I don't have it, but from what I remember and from the shootings that I had with it, it's a great lens. It's a fast lens, very rugged. I think it's a weather resistant lens. So a 50mm f1.4, it won't make much sense. They also have the 50mm f1.0, which is the fastest APS-C lens in the world, if I'm not mistaken. Again, take this with a grain of salt, but 51.4 might not be the aperture that everyone expects. Now, the third one that everyone is thinking about and making assumptions about is a 14mm f1.4. That will be a huge lens, at least as big as this 16 to 55, because it needs a lot of glass inside. It needs a huge glass within a wider front element. So I'm not sure if they want to go that route, but a 14 1.4 will be great. Not necessarily for me, but for those of you who are shooting landscapes, and for everyone who's shooting landscapes and wide, like architecture and interiors, that will be an amazing lens. But I'm not sure that Fujifilm wants to release another huge lens, probably as huge as the 50mm f1.0, because 14 brings all those elements down to a, like I said, huge front element, huge glass, and to gain that kind of light in the lens and being able to open wide to 1.4, you need a huge aperture. So I don't know. I think the most reliable rumor, it is that 33mm f1.4. So we're expecting that soon, hopefully. And I wanted to give you this just a little bit, news about what's happening in the Fujifilm area. And that's pretty much it. So don't forget to put your comments in the box down below and let me know what you think about the 16mm f2.8. Did you use it? Is it a good lens for video and also, shooting wide stuff on the street or landscapes? Is a fast lens. Do you like it? And also, what do you think about the news about the 1.4 fast aperture lens? Maybe it's not going to be a 1.4, maybe it's going to be a 1.2, or maybe it's going to be a 1.0, who knows. But what do you think? What will be your focal length, your desired focal length for such a lens? And guys, this is amazing to have you here. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's very important. Like I said, we're gonna have a giveaway soon at 1,000 subscribers, as well as a live video. We're gonna meet and talk and enjoy ourselves or not. Also, give these videos a thumbs up. It's super important for the algorithm. The more thumbs ups, even thumbs downs I'm getting on these videos, YouTube is gonna bump the video up in top, let's say, 10, 100 videos, and more people are gonna be able to see them, which is our purpose. And this is how you support the channel, by supporting me using the subscribe button and the thumbs up button. And don't forget to stay focused, my friends. I will definitely see you in a bit.